And we start with West Asia. In his visit to Israel, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken held talks with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on joining forces to counter threats from Iran. Netanyahu's office said the Iranian threat and the need for both countries to unite forces against it were raised during the meeting. It added that the Israeli Prime Minister welcomed the U.S. support in its fight against Iran-aligned armed groups in the region. And according to reports, Netanyahu also told the U.S. Secretary of State that the assassination attempt against him cannot be ignored after his house in Caesarea was targeted by the Hezbollah drone last week. Now, meanwhile, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant told Blinken that his government expects Washington's support when it attacks Iran in response to a missile strike earlier this month. Gallant said in a statement that the U.S. stance with Israel following its attack on Iran will strengthen regional deterrence and weaken the Iranian axis. During his 11th trip to the region since the war between Israel and Hamas erupted last year, Netanyahu and Blinken also held talks on post-war Gaza governance. The Israeli Prime Minister expressed hope that the killing of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar will have a positive impact on the return of the hostages held in Gaza for more than a year. Now, the matter also came up for discussion during Blinken's meeting with Israeli President Isaac Herzog. The leaders told media that the killing of Sinwar could create a new opportunity to end the conflict.
Following the killing of Sinwar and the other circumstances that have evolved, there is a unique opportunity to make a special effort to employ all tools necessary and possible to move forward and bring the hostages back home.
I believe very much that the death of Sinwar does create an important opportunity to bring the hostages home, to bring the war to an end, and to ensure Israel's security.
Meanwhile, protests erupted outside Blinken's hotel in Tel Aviv. Families of U.S.-Israeli hostages in Gaza voiced their anger over stalled negotiations for the release of the captives. The demonstrators chanted slogans and displayed signs demanding to secure a deal.
We keep on hearing for a long time now that Sinwar was the main obstacle to reach a deal. And now that Sinwar is gone, we are hoping that the pressure from the United States is going to be immense on the parties, whether it's Qatar, Egypt, Israel, and of course Hamas, to finalize the deal and bring them home.
What we are needing now is leadership. Bold leadership and not incremental steps. We are, according to the United States, waiting on Hamas to figure out what and who are the decision makers. I would act decisively, actively, proactively to get a deal on the table for Hamas to consider and put an end to all of this, including the suffering of the people in Gaza.
And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tenani has sent us this report from New York. Listen in.
U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken met Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Tel Aviv, urging for increased humanitarian aid in Gaza and hostage releases. Blinken reaffirmed America's support for Israel's security, but emphasized minimizing civilian harm. Discussions center around Gaza's future, deterring Iranian aggression, and finding a diplomatic solution to the conflict with Lebanon. Netanyahu's team denied allegations that the government was intentionally starving Palestinians in Gaza. Blinken pressed for tangible results and Israel's commitment seeking to capitalize on the killing of Sinwar to broker a ceasefire. The United States seeks a lasting peace, including a Palestinian state. However, these are issues perhaps easier said than done, with this being Blinken's 11th trip to the Middle East region. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World this one.